At 30, cultivate yourself. At 50, bow your head. And at 70, you will find ease in life. Confucius is known as one of Asia's most famous philosophers. His teachings have shown people how to live more ethically, with a greater sense of morality, and to always respect the law. In China and many other Asian countries, temples, schools, and stores display portraits of Confucius along with his teachings. In the writings of Confucius, one can find profound insights from this remarkable philosopher. Here are 10 of Confucius's sayings that can guide you in life. At 30, this is an age mature and developed enough for one to establish their career, care for themselves, and determine their place in society. Confucius's saying, "At 30 one stands firm," means establishing oneself, one's family, and one's career. First, establishing oneself involves developing personal character and cultivating oneself, which includes nurturing one's mind, morals, and personal capabilities. This foundation is crucial because only you can truly help yourself, live independently, and gain the respect of others. Second, establishing a career means setting up a stable job or profession. At this age, one should have stable employment to support oneself and one's family. Achieving a secure career requires having capabilities, a special talent, or a particular skill. Establishing a career is a way to be financially independent and to pursue personal and societal values. Third, establishing a family is particularly significant as societal dynamics now push young people to strive and compete continuously. This often leads to later marriages to focus on personal career development. Biologically, this age is also ideal for having children, and people at this age become more conscious of their responsibilities toward marriage and family. At 50, this is when one truly understands the truths of nature and the basic rules of life. By 50, most people grasp the natural and societal laws, understand themselves better, and have gone through life's trials. At this stage, they are usually not angry or resentful and live humbly. They realize health is a priceless asset, and thus they tend to focus more on health preservation and exercise. At 50, it is crucial to control emotions, not to be easily swayed, and to appreciate what has been achieved, including cherishing life partners and maintaining important relationships. At 70, when one maintains core personal values and a societal role through the challenging phases of life, everything tends to align well by 70. After enduring life's hardships and embracing the simplicity of living naturally, people adapt to any situation with ease. Although health might not be as robust as in younger years, people engage in activities that bring them joy. Throughout life's varying stages, everyone's experiences are unique. However, reflecting on the teachings of Confucius can help achieve significant milestones, making life vibrant in each phase so that at 70, one can look back on a past filled with wonderful memories. 2. A phrase that saved 3 lives. 1. The argument at the fabric store. One day, Nan Uyen was passing by a busy fabric store and decided to see what was happening inside. Inside, 2 people were having a heated argument. The customer shouted, "3 times 8 is 23. Why are you charging me 24? The seller retorted, "Count on your fingers. It clearly makes 24. You must pay me the full amount, not a penny less." Unable to stand it any longer, Nan Uyen approached the customer, lowered his head, and said, "Sir, 3 times 8 is indeed 24. How can it be 23? You've made a mistake. Let's not argue anymore." The customer, even more infuriated, pointed at Nan Uyen and said, "How old are you? Who asked you to judge? If anyone should judge, it should be Confucius himself." Hearing this, the seller immediately responded, "All right, let's go to Confucius for a decision." Nan Uyen added, "All right, and if Confucius says you are wrong, what then?" The customer replied, "If I'm wrong, you can have my head. And what about you?" Nan Uyen answered, "If I am wrong, I will resign from my position." When Confucius heard the whole story, he looked at his disciple and smiled, saying, 3/8 are 23. Nan Uyen, you've lost. Give your hat to this man." Nan Uyen never argued with his teacher, and upon hearing he was wrong from Confucius, he took off his hat and handed it to the customer. The customer took the hat and left triumphantly. While Nan Uyen outwardly obeyed, he was internally upset, believing his teacher had lost his senses, and decided he no longer wanted to follow Confucius. The next day, Nan Uyen made an excuse about needing to return home for a family matter. Confucius knew what his student was really feeling and did not stop him. Before leaving, Nan Uyen came to say goodbye to his teacher. Confucius wanted his disciple to finish his tasks before leaving and reminded him with a saying, "Do not seek shelter under a 1,000-year-old tree, and do not strike without knowing the truth." As Nan Uyen was heading home, a sudden storm broke out with strong winds and heavy rain. Nan Uyen ran for shelter under a large tree by the road, but then remembered his teacher's words. Thinking of the bond between teacher and student, he decided to heed the advice one more time and ran away from the tree. Just as he did, lightning struck the tree, splintering it into pieces. Nan Uyen was shocked. The first part of his teacher's advice had come true. Could it be that he might harm someone next? Carrying these thoughts, he returned home late at night, not wanting to disturb his family. So he used his sword to quietly push the door open. As he felt around the bed in the dark, he was startled to find someone at the head and another at the foot of the bed. In a rage, Nan Uyen grabbed his sword, intending to strike, but then he remembered Confucius's advice. "Do not strike without knowing the truth," and he hesitated. Lighting a candle, he saw that it was his wife and sister on the bed. 3. The lesson on patience. At dawn, Nan Uyen hurried back to Confucius. As soon as he saw his teacher, he knelt down and said, "Master, your advice saved me, my wife, and my sister. How could you have known such things would happen?" Confucius helped him up and explained, "Yesterday was hot. I predicted a storm with lightning, so I advised you not to stand under a tree. You came home angry and armed. Thus, I cautioned you not to act without knowing the full situation." Nan Uyen bowed deeply. "Master, your foresight is like that of a god. I am in awe." Confucius continued, "I knew you wanted to leave because you thought I was senile and no longer wished to follow me. Think about it. I said 3/8 are 23 and you lost just a hat. If I said 24, someone else could have lost their life. Which is more important, a hat or a life?" Nan Uyen was once again amazed and enlightened and knelt before his master saying, "Master values righteousness over petty disputes. I am ashamed to have doubted your wisdom." 3. 5 essential qualities for achieving great things. 1. Avoid short-term greed to achieve greater goals. During the late Qing dynasty, a merchant lost his fortune due to a business mistake and needed a significant amount of capital to rebuild his enterprise. He approached Ho Yue Ngam, the owner of a major financial house, and asked him to buy all his assets at a price lower than market value. Ho Yue Ngam investigated the merchant's situation and ended up purchasing the assets for more than their market value. The merchant wondered why Ho didn't take advantage of the situation for personal gain. Ho simply replied, "Don't worry, I am just holding these assets temporarily. You can reclaim them whenever you overcome this phase. Thanks to Ho's timely support, the merchant eventually recovered and became a long-term business partner with Ho. This story illustrates the wisdom of foregoing immediate small gains for larger, long-lasting benefits. 2. Patience is key in leadership. Success often requires enduring minor setbacks and inconveniences. In 100 BC, Emperor Wu of Han wanted to ease tensions with the Xiongnu tribes and sent envoy Su Wu to them with over 100 followers. Despite being tempted with wealth and enduring imprisonment and hardship by the Xiongnu king, Su Wu remained steadfast. After more than 15 years in exile, his patience and resilience allowed him to return home, exemplifying how mastery over one's impulses can significantly influence one's life trajectory. 3. Maintaining integrity. Confucius emphasized the importance of being trustworthy. A merchant once promised a fisherman 100 gold coins for rescuing him from a capsized boat. However, once safe, the merchant reneged on his promise and offered only 10 gold coins. The fisherman left disappointed, and when the merchant capsized again, no one came to his aid, leading to his demise. This teaches us that losing trust can have severe long-term consequences, especially when support is needed most. 4. Think before you act. Discipline and self-control are critical for achieving greatness. A successful businessman once shared that he never made decisions while intoxicated or unclear-headed, which helped him avoid potential pitfalls. Similarly, life is full of temptations and traps that only the vigilant can avoid. 5. Embrace ambition. In 1483, a young scholar named Wang Yangming asked his teacher what the ultimate value of life was. While his teacher believed it was to study and succeed in officialdom, Wang disagreed, aiming instead to become a virtuous person. Wang later became a great philosopher, proving that having a clear purpose and ambition is essential for guiding one's actions and achieving one's goals efficiently and effectively.
If you like this video, please comment 1, and if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.
4. Confucius. Once admired an unknown man. One day, Confucius and his students were trekking through the countryside to visit a majestic waterfall, famous for its impressive height and grandeur. From a distance, the waterfall appeared awe-inspiring, with its water cascading down loudly, filling the air with its roar. As they approached the waterfall, they spotted a man in the fierce water, overwhelmed by the powerful flow cascading from above. Confucius urgently said to his companions, "Hurry to the waterfall! That man must have fallen into the water. Not even fish could survive in such conditions. We need to rescue him." They ran as fast as they could, but by the time they reached the bottom of the hill, they lost sight of the man. Nevertheless, they continued on, hoping to find him. After crossing a forest, they arrived at a river downstream from the waterfall. They were convinced they would only find the man's body. Instead, they saw him swimming out of the waterfall calmly, tossing his long hair and singing loudly as if he had just enjoyed a thrilling experience. Everyone was stunned. Confucius was extremely curious and could not understand how the man had survived, let alone emerged so calmly from the waterfall. He approached the stranger and asked, "When we saw you at the waterfall, we thought you had fallen and needed help. How did you manage to withstand such fierce water? Do you have some special skill?" "No, I don't have any special skills," the man replied. "I simply go with the nature of the water. So I really don't think about it much. If I had to describe it, I'd say when the swirling waters pour down, I spin with them. When a strong current pushes me down, I dive with it. In doing so, I fully understand that once my body reaches the riverbed, the flow will reverse and lift me up. As it happens, I just go along with it." So, your approach is to flow with the water rather than trying to control it? Asked Confucius. Exactly. Though the water is incredibly strong, it is also a friend I have known for many years. So, I can sense what it wants to do, and I use its flow without trying to control it or impose my will on it. Commentary. If we consider the waterfall as the ups and downs of life and the man as ourselves, then what is the lesson here? Clearly, life is never smooth. It always contains storms and challenges that await us. Sometimes, facing these challenges, what we need to do is calmly accept them. Acceptance here doesn't mean giving up completely, but operating according to its rules. Just like the water, after the waterfall there is a calm, smooth flow. After enduring challenges, we reach peace. When we hit rock bottom, it's time for us to rise. Therefore, no matter how difficult things are, never give up. You just need to be more resilient, more patient, and more flexible, and the storm will pass. Many people in life are troubled by things they cannot control, but remember, everything has its own way of operating. So, if something doesn't go the way we want, that's normal, because we ourselves sometimes don't act the way others want. Life is truly peaceful only when our mind is calm. With a steady mind, no matter the difficulties outside, life can still be peaceful. 5. A lesson from a fisherman's heart. Once Confucius was traveling with his disciples through various countries. During their visit to the state of Song, before they could get accustomed to the local customs, a fisherman approached them with a large fish, intending to offer it to Confucius. Despite having little, the fisherman's generosity was great. His living conditions were not stable, yet he offered a grand gesture of hospitality, which delighted the disciples, who quickly brought him before Confucius. Confucius understood the fisherman's intentions, but made it clear that he could not accept the gift because he had a principle of not enjoying benefits without contributing work. How could I accept something for nothing? He thought. This was how he always acted and how he taught his disciples. The fisherman, not skilled in rhetoric, blushed when he heard Confucius's refusal. Hurriedly, he explained, "It's very hot, and I went to far-off markets to sell this fish but couldn't. Instead of wasting it, I thought it better to offer it to you." When the disciples heard this, some became very angry. One of them couldn't hold back and said fiercely, "So you couldn't sell it, and instead of throwing it away, you give it to our teacher. If we accept this fish, wouldn't we be like a foul-smelling ditch, just a place for you to dump your unwanted catch? Please take your fish and leave." The fisherman's face turned even redder, wanting to explain and clear up the misunderstanding. At that moment, Confucius stood up, bowed twice to the fisherman, respectfully accepted the fish, and said, "Thank you for your gift. I cannot reject your kind-hearted gesture." After the fisherman left, Confucius instructed his disciples to clean the fish and prepare it for a ritual offering. The disciples looked at each other in amazement, not understanding what their teacher was doing. They asked, "The fisherman wanted to throw it away, and yet you want to offer it in a ritual. Why?" Confucius calmly replied, "I have heard that those who give selflessly and do not waste are truly virtuous. Now that I have received a gift from such a person, how can I not offer a ritual?" Reflection. Anyone in the world can be virtuous. It just takes a kind heart and love for others. What a person says or even thinks isn't as important as what they do, because noble actions are always better than noble intentions. In life, how many people truly give of themselves? There are many who have more than they need, yet never think of giving to those who are in need. Perhaps they have yet to understand and feel the value of kindness. When we are open to giving, we find that the act itself brings a wonderful feeling, like giving someone a bouquet of flowers. The flowers are given away, but the scent lingers on our hands. Kindness and goodness bring fragrance to life in just that way. They not only provide needed help to those in need, making their lives better and more hopeful, but also fill us with joy and happiness at every moment of life. Life would be so much more beautiful if everyone chose to spread kindness. From ancient times it has been said, "As you sow, so shall you reap." When we sow kindness, we reap sweet fruits. If everyone enjoyed the fruits of their kind acts, wouldn't that be wonderful? Don't think that acts of kindness need to be grand. A fish that couldn't be sold, given to someone else, is also an act of kindness, which Confucius likened to the actions of a saint. Even a smile, a bit of patience, or a positive attitude. These seemingly simple acts, if offered to others, are also acts of goodness. Don't hesitate to give. In return, we receive rewards, sometimes immediately or sometimes unexpectedly. 6. Even the smallest tasks can lead to success if done this way. You will never fail. In the Analects, Confucius wrote, "Wealth and honors are what people desire, but if they cannot be obtained in the right way, they should not be held." This means that everyone likes to be rich and successful, but truly exceptional people know how to achieve it properly. Having a certain amount of money and a social status is undoubtedly a measure of success in everyday life. However, it might surprise you that 20% of the world's population controls 80% of the wealth. Confucius believed that whether a person can reach the top of the pyramid depends on how much they demand of themselves, and Confucius himself is a prime example of this. Confucius learned the music instrument. During the spring and autumn period in the state of Lu, there was a master musician named Xu Xiang. Many admired him, including Confucius. At the age of 30, Confucius asked Xu Xiang to teach him music. Confucius was very diligent, practicing tirelessly from the first piece of music he learned. After 10 days, his playing skills improved significantly. Xu Xiang, after hearing Confucius play, said, "You have mastered this piece well. You can move on to the next one." But Confucius stood up respectfully and replied, "Although I'm familiar with this piece, I haven't fully grasped its techniques yet." So he continued practicing it as usual. Over time, Xu Xiang felt Confucius had become very proficient and told him, "You've mastered the skills of this piece, so you should learn another one." Confucius thought for a moment and responded, "Even though I've mastered the skills, I still haven't grasped the thoughts and emotions of the piece." One day, Xu Xiang visited Confucius's home and was immediately captivated by the music. He sighed. "You've understood the thoughts and emotions in the music. Let's move on to a new piece." However, Confucius said, "I still haven't grasped what kind of person the composer was." As time passed, one day Confucius excitedly reported to Xu Xiang, "I can now envision the composer of this piece. He had a solemn face and a sturdy physique, with deep, bright eyes. He always thought, to conquer others with virtue, to touch all corners of the land. Such a person could only be King Wen of Zhou." Xu Xiang was amazed and replied, "You are right. This piece was indeed composed by King Wen. Your diligence and effort are truly remarkable." Confucius was known as a talented and knowledgeable person. He always acted carefully, thoroughly understanding the roots and mastering details. That's why he could fully comprehend and master the world of knowledge. Whether in the past or present, many often struggle to meet the demands of teachers or leaders in school or at work. Confucius could become great partly because he always demanded more of himself than others expected of him. This is the difference between truly successful people and ordinary ones. The higher a person's self-expectations, the greater their chances of success. For instance, in a job, if you set a goal to achieve $200,000 in sales and you achieve it, that's a success. But compared to those whose goal was $1 million, your $200,000 still falls short. Similarly, in school, we often see students who are unhappy with their exam scores, even if they score a 9 or 9.5 out of 10. They aren't bragging. It simply shows that any score that doesn't meet their own high standards is considered a failure. If you want to reach the pinnacle of success that not everyone can achieve, you must be strict with yourself. In simpler terms, be like Confucius and set high standards for yourself, even in the smallest tasks. Another sage, Laozi, also taught, if you finish as carefully as you begin, you will not fail. Often the most important thing is not the nature of the task, but our attitude towards it. From the smallest tasks, if you are not serious, gradually you will also fail to do well in bigger tasks. If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. 7. The timeless lesson of courtesy in human interactions. An ancient story tells of a blind man visiting Confucius. As the man approached the steps, Confucius said, "Here are the steps." And as he reached the mat, he said, "Here is the mat." When the man sat down, Confucius helped guide him by saying where to sit. When Confucius encountered someone wearing mourning clothes, even if younger, he would respectfully stand up. He also bowed slightly when passing through the grand doors of the court, as if the doors were too low. The powerful role of ritual in social conduct. The Analects, compiled by Confucius's disciples after his death, details many specific actions and words of Confucius. These details show us how he behaved in various everyday situations, like entering a room or during dinner. Why are these moments so important? According to Confucianism, rituals have the power to transform us because, in certain moments, they allow us to become someone else. Rituals, if performed well, can lift us out of the messy world of human relations and create a new space, a ceremonial space where ideal relationships can be cultivated, explains Michael Puett, a professor of Chinese history at Harvard. In his book, The Path, Puett cites the example of ancestor worship, a traditional ritual. During these ceremonies, family members come together to honor their ancestors, creating an as-if world of love and harmony. This orderly, perfect as-if world allows them to act as if they are the true descendants of their forebears. Each family member behaves as if there are no conflicts among them. Such fragile harmony may collapse once they leave the worship site. But gradually, as rituals are performed over and over, healthy connections are re-established, improving relationships within the family, Puett explains. Similarly, we often think that a text message, a word of encouragement, a coffee date, or a dinner together are cumbersome, formal, or even insincere. Yet, these as-if events can lead to significant shifts. Even when we're unaware of their significance, these small acts can still have a positive impact. Our relationships don't improve because of grand, dramatic events. About Confucius, Puett believes that the sage's views could reverse our understanding of self-awareness and harmony with others. In an era where busyness is commonplace, rituals are often neglected. We believe we need to behave more practically. But understanding the role of rituals beyond their formal, insincere labels may make us think again. In reality, people in close relationships often create new realities with blatant lies. "You're the best, don't worry about it," Puett says. One of the most common lies is, "I love you." Couples habitually say this but don't necessarily feel total love every second. They almost certainly have complex feelings towards their partner from time to time. But by nurturing the relationship through such rituals, people escape reality and enter a space where they seem to truly love each other completely. When they express their love in a role-playing manner, they actually grow to love each other more. Take another example: children playing cops and robbers. One child pretends to protect a store from robbers. The children are aware it's pretend, but the game allows them to step out of reality and hone their qualities, learning to control fear and anxiety, playing the role of a hero helping others. Or like Confucius, who didn't insist on arranging his mat neatly just because he liked things tidy. He understood that seemingly minor actions like arranging seating for everyone can create a different environment that profoundly impacts relationships. Similarly, in your family's modern dinner, when the table is set and hot food is served, even if that day was stressful with conflicts, the dinner ritual marks a pause, allowing everyone to shift gears. So, the next time you're tempted to skip a family dinner, a coffee with a long-lost friend, or a greeting to a new colleague, think again. Remember, relationships don't improve because of grand, dramatic events, but through those small moments. By refusing those seemingly normal, trivial, insincere activities, you might be missing the chance to become a better child, friend, or colleague. 8. How to deal with difficult colleagues at work. The workplace can be complex with countless problems arising daily, leading to inevitable fatigue. Adapt to survive is a common approach when faced with such common situations. Many choose to blend in with the flow to secure peace of mind and continue to perform their tasks efficiently. However, there are also those who are clear-headed and refuse to allow their integrity to be compromised by office politics and gossip, striving to maintain their purity. What are the wise ways to handle such situations? Does a noble person need to adapt to the lesser characters? A story about how 3 students answered Confucius's question will certainly provide office workers with valuable life lessons. In the historical records of Sima Qian, it is noted that Confucius was trapped by the officials of the Tran and Tai nations, preventing him from going to the state of So. Confucius ran out of provisions and his followers fell ill, but he continued to teach, recite poetry, play music, and sing, never showing weakness. Zilu became angry and Confucius asked him, "Is my way wrong? Why do I face this situation?" Zilu replied, "Maybe it's because we are not compassionate enough, so people don't trust us. Perhaps we are not wise enough, so they don't let us go." Not so. Zilu, if every compassionate person was trusted, there wouldn't be stories of betrayal like those of Ba Di and Duc Te. If every wise person understood everything, there wouldn't be cases like Wang Tzu or Zi Kan. Zigong then entered and Confucius asked him the same question. Zigong replied, "Your way is too noble for the world to accommodate. You must lower it a bit." Nan Hoi then came in and Confucius asked again. Nan Hoi said, "Your path is grand and the world cannot accommodate it. But what harm does it do if they do not embrace it? They may not accept you now, but later they will see you as a noble person. It's a disgrace not to cultivate one's path, but if it's cultivated and still not embraced, that's the fault of the ruler, not yours." Confucius smiled, deeply impressed by Nan Hoi's words. Lao Tzu once said, "The highest virtue is to follow the path diligently after understanding it. The average person hears the path and is skeptical. The fool hears the path and laughs at it. If there's no laughter, the path is not truly understood." Confucius also stated, "The Qilan plant thrives in deep valleys and does not cease to be fragrant because it is unseen. A noble person cultivates virtue regardless of their circumstances." Clearly, in life and work, we cannot avoid interacting with lesser characters. However, everyone has their own values and methods. Therefore, it seems unnecessary to adapt or assimilate oneself, only to dilute one's character and uniqueness. The noble person is like the pure lotus, untouched by the mud around it. 9. Speed is important, but haste leads to waste. In today's world, everyone is in a hurry. Meals must be quick or else you'll be late for work. Meetings should end swiftly so you can continue to work overtime. Even traveling is rushed, as if you're just glimpsing the scenery from a speeding horse. Certainly, speed is crucial in our modern era, especially on the path to success. However, if everything is done in a rush, we miss out on many of the beautiful aspects of life. This can leave us feeling overwhelmed and led to poor judgments and decisions. Confucius once said, "Do not desire to be too quick or to profit from small gains. Rushing can ruin your work. Desiring minor benefits won't achieve great ends. You cannot blindly chase speed or short-term gains. Slow and steady accumulation leads to lasting wealth and success." Confucius's student Zixia was a local official troubled by the slow progress in his duties. He sought advice from Confucius, who told him, "If you have chosen the path of an official, be patient. Look ahead and progress steadily. Don't act hastily for short-term gains, as it not only prevents long journeys, but also risks losing what you currently have." After reflecting on these words, Zixia returned to his duties with renewed diligence and patience, eventually achieving great success. Most people who seek quick results do not have a long-term plan and lack the perseverance needed to achieve their goals. If you desire lasting prosperity, remember, haste leads to waste. Deciding in haste can lead to mistakes. During the Ming Dynasty, there was an official known for his unique approach to handling cases. If a case wasn't urgent, he would tell the complainants to come back the next day. Over time, while some mocked him as lazy, they didn't realize that giving people a night to rethink their complaints often led them to withdraw, reducing unnecessary legal actions. This method allowed the official time to reflect deeply on the cases, avoiding unjust decisions. By being careful and not rushing, he avoided many unnecessary errors. To make wise decisions, first calm your mind, then consider carefully before deciding. Long-term vision reveals more opportunities. Throughout history, while many have rushed to find success, there are those who plan strategically, opting for a steady approach to outpace others. Zhuge Liang, a historical strategist, chose to live in seclusion not because he lacked ambition, but because he awaited the right moment and the right leader to support for significant accomplishments. When Liu Bei sought his advice, Zhuge Liang initially refused him 3 times, testing Liu Bei's patience and respect for talent. Being slow is a form of wisdom. Calmness can control impulsiveness. In our complex and busy modern lives, we face numerous challenges daily. By stabilizing our minds and remaining calm, we can better understand situations and make more effective decisions with less effort. 10. Embracing Confucian values, excelling like Cao Cao. Ancient wisdom teaches us, become a good person before seeking success. We grow up learning virtues like benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and fidelity, with benevolence being the foremost. Righteousness and propriety are about knowledge and principles for becoming a good person. Wisdom guides us on how to live correctly. Propriety teaches us how to enrich our relationships and uphold righteousness, which builds trust. Trust is essential for optimizing social interactions, from personal relationships to economic and political dealings. Thus, honesty is an immutable moral value. Dishonesty, in any culture, violates propriety, leading to injustice, mistrust, and inhumanity. This is why we say, work to succeed, but don't forget to live to become a good person. We draw profound lessons on morality and talent from the virtues of Confucius and the skills of Cao Cao. First, learning from Cao Cao. 1. Be flexible and patient. Don't seek immediate glory. Understand the wisdom in bending the head as a form of intelligence. 2. Be bold but cautious. Great achievements come from daring to act beyond conventional limits and expressing your competitive abilities. 3. Build inner strength to reveal strong external capabilities, maintaining confidence and composure in all situations. 4. Utilize the support and talents of others to enhance team spirit and manage skilled individuals regardless of their background. 5. Think long-term but don't overlook the details, decisive in major matters and meticulous in minor ones. 6. Leadership is challenging. Be firm in decisions, clear in rewards and punishments, and versatile in management styles. 7. Plan thoroughly and never surrender to failure. Face challenges calmly and never give up. 2nd, learning from Confucius. 1. Virtues of a sage. Trustworthiness. Your word must be your bond. Filial piety. Uphold family values as a priority. Willingness to correct mistakes. Aspiration. Live with purpose. Otherwise, you're aimless. Friendship. Maintain balanced relationships. Tolerance. This is an advanced state of mind. 2. Sage's approach to interpersonal relationships. Listen and observe. Be flexible but not arrogant. Treat the rich and poor equally with calm dignity. 3. Words and actions of a sage. Wise people stop rumors. They follow through on their words. Patience is vital. Don't lose greater values for minor gains. 4. Living happily. Stay gentle like water, firm like a mountain. Find the sweet in the bitter. Change yourself, not just your circumstances. Happiness is a personal choice. 5. Cultivate your character. Avoid bad influences. Appreciate peaceful days. Excel in your field. 6. Combine virtue with talent to win others' hearts. Be grateful, win with wisdom, and rely on moral character. Keep learning regardless of age and focus on actions over words.
If you like this video, please comment 1. And if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.
11. Seeing through deceitful people and forming true friendships. Since ancient times, it has been said that only a long road reveals the horse's strength. Only time reveals a person's heart. It's also known that those who constantly discuss right and wrong are often the ones causing trouble. Confucius believed that to judge a person, you should consider these 5 points. 1. How they view benefits. Confucius said, "The noble-minded discuss virtues, the petty focus on gains." Everyone leans towards personal gain, but some value integrity and morals over mere benefits. In modern society, while pursuing personal interests is a right, if a person disregards ethics for the sake of profit, such individuals should be avoided. A person who can maintain principles and ethics even in the face of benefits and values relationships and the greater good is truly worth befriending. 2. How they get along with others. Confucius stated, "The noble deal fairly with others. The petty form cliques." Forming cliques is often about attacking and excluding others rather than doing good. Therefore, a person who gets along well with everyone is likely straightforward and fair. 3. Whether they keep their word. Confucius expressed, "If a person is not trustworthy, what can they accomplish? It's like a cart without wheels." To recognize a trustworthy person, see if they keep their promises and maintain honesty in their dealings. 4. How they treat their family. Confucius was asked about filial piety and said that the hardest part about interacting with parents is maintaining a cheerful and kind demeanor. Indeed, people often reserve their best behavior for outsiders and bring their frustrations home. However, A truly moral person maintains proper conduct even with family. 5. How they react after making a mistake. Confucius noted, "A person's mistakes reflect their true nature." Animals group by nature. People sort into types based on their actions. Analyzing a person's mistakes can reveal their true character. People react to errors differently based on their principles and character. Understanding a person isn't straightforward. However, these 5 insights can help you determine who might be a lasting and genuine friend in this vibrant, complex world. 12. The timeless wisdom of Confucius. One of the most admirable yet often overlooked qualities in leadership is the ability to reflect. Confucius once said, "There are 3 methods to gaining wisdom. First, by reflection, which is the noblest. Second, by imitation, which is the easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest." Yet, when discussing the traits of a successful leader, we often focus on innovation, strategic decision-making, or risk management. The ability to reflect isn't frequently mentioned as a core leadership quality. However, it is this ability to reflect on decisions, behaviors, and lessons learned that guides leaders to success. For example, media mogul Arianna Huffington has suggested that reflection connects us with intelligence and creativity. Investment billionaire Ray Dalio also acknowledges that reflecting on painful experiences has helped him build Bridgewater, the world's largest hedge fund. The power of reflection. Reflection differs from critical thinking, which is more focused on problem-solving and final objectives. Reflection helps us understand our underlying beliefs and assumptions and their impact on our decisions. It guides our problem-solving process and behavior. Companies often want leaders to make quick, decisive decisions while balancing competitive advantages. However, in a fast-paced world, the importance of reflection in achieving leadership success is often underestimated, despite substantial evidence supporting its significance. Studies by Tufts Medical School and Boston University have explored the role of reflection in patient-doctor interactions, finding that doctors who reflect on their communication offer better patient experiences, showing greater concern for the patient's true feelings. Harvard Business School states that reflection not only improves awareness and focus during communication, but also boosts confidence in understanding and completing tasks. Surprisingly, researchers found that spending time on reflection after completing a task was more effective than repeatedly performing the task. Just 15 minutes a day can change your life. Despite the clear benefits of reflection, why don't more leaders practice it? Reasons vary, but mainly due to lack of time and commitment. Behavioral scientists note that most people prefer engaging in external activities rather than introspection alone. Still, some leaders recognize the importance of this habit and make time for it. Harry Kramer, former CEO of Baxter International, reflects every evening asking himself, "If I could live today over again, what would I do differently?" Kramer doesn't advocate for any special method of self-reflection, as he believes it is a personal matter. However, he strongly encourages other leaders to spend at least 15 minutes a day reflecting. Sarah Blakely, billionaire founder of Spanx, uses writing to reflect and review. In an interview, she mentioned using nearly 20 notebooks to write about everything bad that happened to her, stating, "The bad things that happen to you always contain a gift that leads to greater things." Reflection is also an effective learning method, as demonstrated by the University of Texas. Participants given memory tasks with breaks in between use these breaks to reflect and connect new information with previous knowledge more effectively. How to harness the power of reflection. According to psychologist Tasha Eurich, the key is to ask what instead of why. For example, instead of asking, "Why did this happen?" ask, What can I do differently to prevent this from happening again? Asking what helps us stay clear-headed, maintain objectivity, and focus on the future. By looking at a problem from a different perspective, people feel more confident and know how to handle stress appropriately. There's no one-size-fits-all formula for reflection. Choose a method that suits you best and apply it daily, starting with the smallest challenges. You don't have to start doing this immediately. Ultimately, the goal of reflection is to both participate in and actively observe your own life and experiences. 13. Life-changing philosophies from Confucius. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. If you keep moving forward, no matter how slow, eventually you will reach your goal. The key is to continuously strive to improve and stay committed to your chosen path. Never make friends with someone who is not better than you. We tend to become like those we are close to. Make sure that your friends have qualities that you admire and that motivate you to improve yourself. Good things always come with a price. It's easy to hate and hard to love. That's how the essentials of life are arranged. Good things are hard to achieve, and bad things are easy to get, according to Confucius. Hating someone or something in life, or opposing and making excuses, is all too easy. But do you know what really motivates life? Forgiveness, love, and giving your all are the keys to everything. First, sharpen your own tools. Whether you succeed or fail in life depends on your dedication, but a craftsman will perfect his work when he first sharpens his tools. Confucius said, "Success depends on prior preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure." Whatever you do, if you want to succeed, the first step is to be thoroughly prepared. Made a mistake? It's nothing. Making a mistake is nothing unless you keep remembering it. Making mistakes is not a sin. In fact, it's a great way to improve yourself and change aspects of your life. The important thing is not to let the past take over your thoughts. Consider the potential consequences carefully. When you get angry, think about the consequences. Solomon once said, "The one who controls their anger is stronger than the mighty warrior." Always remember to stay calm in any situation and consider the consequences that will follow. Adjust your steps. When it's clear that your goal is not achievable, don't change your goal, change your actions. Take charge and monitor your own progress to ensure you are on the right track. Obstacles will come, so make sure you are flexible enough to cope and stay firm to reach your goal. Learn from everyone. Confucius said, "If I am walking with two other people, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of each and imitate them, and for their bad points, I will correct them in myself." We all have been, are, and will go through various trials and experiences in life. Everyone has stories to share. Keep that in mind whenever you talk to someone around you. All or nothing. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Try your best because that is the only way to enjoy all the best things in life. When you carry a passionate, sincere heart, every journey you take will yield good results. Don't let each trip just be a move. Make it a worthwhile journey. If you find these stories inspiring and they motivate you to take action, please comment 9. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time. 14. The old horseshoe. Learning to bow down is the key to holding your head high. When Confucius traveled with his disciple Tsze Lu, they came across an old iron horseshoe on their path. Confucius asked Tsze Lu to pick it up, but Tsze Lu, feeling lazy and reluctant to bend down, pretended not to hear. Seeing this, Confucius didn't say a word and picked up the horseshoe himself. Along the way, he traded the old horseshoe for 3 coins, which he then used to buy several peaches. Leaving the city, they continued through a vast wilderness. Riding on an ox, Confucius guessed that Zi Lu must be very thirsty. Cleverly, he dropped a peach from his sleeve onto the ground. Zi Lu saw it, quickly picked it up, and ate it. As they walked, Confucius deliberately dropped more peaches, and despite his reluctance, Zi Lu bent down multiple times to pick them up and quench his thirst. After this ordeal, Confucius said to Zi Lu, "If you had simply bent down once earlier, wouldn't you have avoided bending over again later? Avoiding small tasks now only leads to greater difficulties later." Commentary. Bending down is a simple action. Even a child can do it. However, many people avoid it due to laziness, pride, or because they're too busy looking at the big picture and forget the opportunities right in front of them. In truth, many can teach us the value of humility. Parents teach us from a young age. They tell us, if you keep putting things off until tomorrow, by the end of the day, you won't achieve anything. Teachers remind us to collect every bit of knowledge, as it accumulates into something priceless. In the complex society, leaders also teach us to be humble. They remind us that no matter how high the mountain, it's only challenging our ability to climb it. And no matter how long the road, we'll reach its end. Sometimes, you are your own best teacher in learning to be humble. Only you can constantly remind yourself to consider, what have I gained? What have I lost? Bowing down might make us miss out momentarily, but it never means losing ourselves. In life, knowing when to bow and when to stand tall is an art. Just one act of humility can change your life forever. Bowing down is not just about lowering yourself. It's about preparing to rise higher with dignity. 15. 5 Unfortunate Actions in Life. In the book, The Analects of Confucius, there's an interesting story about a time when the king of the Lu state asked Confucius about expanding his palace eastward, as he had heard it was bad luck. Confucius replied, "I've heard of 5 unfortunate actions in life, but expanding your palace eastward is not one of them." So, what are these 5 unfortunate actions that the famous Chinese philosopher mentioned? 1. Harming others for personal gain. Those who step on others to benefit themselves will ultimately bring disaster upon themselves. 2. Seeking fame without capabilities. When incompetent individuals push aside the virtuous and talented to elevate themselves, it brings misfortune to the nation. 3. Elders not teaching and the young not learning. This bad habit, where older people refuse to instruct and the young are too proud to learn, leads to a lack of progress and wisdom in society. 4. Wise men withdrawing and the wicked prevailing. When the wise and virtuous are ignored by the state and the incompetent seek power, it leads to chaos and decline. 5. Disregarding the elderly and favoring the young. Neglecting the elderly and focusing all attention on the young can bring unhappiness to a family. This ancient wisdom, passed down through thousands of years, teaches us about the importance of respecting and learning from our elders and about the consequences of our actions. As with a tree, where the roots need to be nourished for the fruit to thrive, societies and families flourish when they respect and care for all members, from the oldest to the youngest. By reflecting on these teachings, we learn that our fortunes are not just a matter of luck or good feng shui, but are greatly influenced by our own actions and moral choices. 16. Balancing act, the timeless wisdom of achieving success through restraint and objectivity. 1. The difference between a noble person and a lesser one is mainly about balance and restraint. Aside from those who hit the jackpot, the biggest difference I usually see when talking to people who are more successful than me, both materially and spiritually, is their extreme objectivity when approaching any issue. 2. An old saying worth reading and pondering differentiates a noble person from a lesser one. Nature's way compensates the lacking with the abundant, while man's way compensates the abundant with the lacking. 3. Following nature's way means going with the natural flow of the universe, like water flowing into a depression or a plant blooming when it has space. This represents a noble person. 4. Following man's way means following their subjective thoughts, driven by ego and selfishness, like wanting to show off after a victory or striving to be superior to others. This represents a lesser person. 5. Thus, the distinction between a noble and a lesser person lies in their balance and restraint. 6. This balance isn't only about ethics or goodness, but also refers to achieving the highest efficiency in life. In today's economic environment, people often talk about the advantages of material wealth and skills, but rarely discuss how cultural thinking impacts this. 7. Almost a month ago, I received a book named 3,000 Characters from a collection by the ancient scholar Confucius. This book, primarily used in old village schools, helps children remember characters through opposites like heaven-earth, store-keep, and no repetition of words. Why then, after studying this, can these children easily create poetry and music later in life? 8. This book has a total of 3,000 words, describing various phenomena from simple to complex, from nature to societal life. It's an effective tool for anyone wanting to understand and then express themselves. 9. The repetitive nature of the book's content, akin to software installation, instills a balanced mindset in its readers, allowing them to think critically and independently. 10. The method of reading loudly and rotating the head in a circle, commonly seen in Confucian-influenced Asian countries, besides aiding in physical alertness and quicker memorization, also integrates the body's motion with the rhythm of the reading. 17. Confucius's unique facial features. The image of Confucius through the artist's brush. To help future generations visualize, historians have often depicted Confucius's appearance through pen and paper. Trang Tu, a renowned philosopher during the Warring States period, 369 BC, 286 BC, described Confucius as follows: long in the upper body and short in the lower, with a stooped back and ears sticking out behind. These records suggest that Confucius had a disproportionate body, with a longer upper body compared to his legs, and walked with a bent posture, his ears protruding backward. Shi Ji, the House of Confucius, notes, he was born with a pointed top head. This pointed top means that the middle of Confucius's head was indented while the surrounding areas bulged, resembling the Luo River between the Ni Kao Mountains. This is also why his real name was Kong Chiu, and he also went by the courtesy name Zhong Ni. Confucius's face was also considered unattractive. Tuan Zi recorded, Zhong Ni's face looked like a protective talisman. These talismans, with their square faces and wild hair, were used in ancient times to ward off spirits and evil. This confirms that Confucius did not possess a handsome appearance but was, rather, below average. There's a legend that, because he was so ugly at birth, his father abandoned him in the wilderness. His mother, Yan Zheng, missed him so much that she searched the mountains for him. There, she found Confucius being nursed by a tiger, with eagles fanning him with their wings, a surprising sight that led her to bring him home. Although this story is more like a fairy tale, it reflects some aspects of the philosopher's appearance. Descriptions of his appearance are consistent across historical documents, so it's generally understood that Confucius had distinctive facial features: bulging eyes, a wide nose, a visible Adam's apple, protruding ears, and a gap between his teeth, far from today's beauty standards. Unique facial features. We often tend to idealize and beautify the images of our ancestors, especially the virtuous ones. So, why did artists consistently emphasize a flaw like Confucius's protruding teeth generation after generation? In reality, Confucius's front teeth were even and protruded forward, known as parallel teeth. In ancient times, parallel teeth were considered a unique trait only seen in emperors or highly virtuous individuals, a rarity among common folk. Many ancient philosophers like King Chu Yu, poet Li Yu, and General Xiang Yu also had this feature. Therefore, the visible front teeth in portraits of Confucius aren't seen as a flaw, but as a mark of a saint. Ancient artists, aware of this, deliberately highlighted his teeth in their portraits. History also shows that Confucius was a virtuous scholar with the demeanor of an official, yet very approachable and kind. He is depicted in the painting Confucius Teaching, wearing a long robe with a broad belt, not in official attire, modest, standing with clasped hands and a gentle face.
If you like this video, please comment 1, and if you don't, comment 2. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.